What's up, fuckers? Your boy is back with a fresh batch of dope. Like dope. That's right, people. The hits don't stop. Now, today's video is going to be on quite possibly the most despised knife in the game. But before we get to that point, gotta give y'all an update. On my most recent video, which happened to be the dopest knives of 2024, there was actually a glaring omission. A few of you guys actually reached out to me to ask me as to where the SPK Lamia was, otherwise known as that Ric Flair. Woo! Now, unfortunately, we had some tough times behind the scenes here at KnifeDope Studios to close out 2024. And because of those tough times, I ended up having to relinquish the rights to my Lamia. Got a handsome offer from a knife bro of mine, and I ended up taking him up on the offer. Now, the good news for me is that he's going to allow me visitation rights twice a year. So if I miss it that much, I can always have him send it my way. But the good news was there was a few things that kind of went in my favor to close out the year. Case in point is going to be this beauty, which was sold to me by another dear knife bro, Mr. Johnny Dubs. This, of course, is Rosie number 3 for me all time. This one is special though. This one is number 3499. Thereby meaning this one is in Van X Super Clean. Gorgeous bronze anno. Love that mag milling. Hopefully this third time around is the charm for me, as I have had 2 times before this where I really felt the knife wasn't worth, or rather the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. But the early feedback from me on this one is I think it just might stick around. Now back to this one, the most despised knife in the game. And so without further ado, let's get to the dope. Now, it's been no secret of my love affair with the Benchmade Narrows, so it was only right that I would get a chance to check out the mini Narrows at some point. This was sent to me courtesy of the Apex Pass-Around group. Now, if you've been under a rock, perhaps you don't know that Benchmade made the ill-advised decision to raise their prices catalog-wide by 11% starting in 2025. So because of that decision, this variant of the Mini Narrows comes in at a whopping 580 goddamn USA dollars. 100% USA made, highly produced. We've got black and titanium. Also have some sort of mag milling on this on the scales as well. DLC finish on that folded over stainless steel pocket clip. Nice petite set of tits for deployment. Let's check it out. Woo! And the detent is dialed the fuck in. Now don't be silly, for I know you know that crossbar locks do not have a traditional detent. But being that as it is, it does feel quite snappy, even more so than the original one to me. We've got 6.9 inches as far as our overall length. 2.98 inches of that is in this beautiful drop point apparatus. Absolutely digging that true DLC finish on the blade. They decided to go with 20 CV this go around, HRC 59 to 61. So not quite optimal, but that should be expected as Benchmade seems to favor softer heat treats, allegedly. Blade stock thickness is 80 thousandths. Now, the thin handle kind of turns a lot of people off, but I'm going to tell you, as you know I'd never shit you, it really isn't an issue for me. It's not uncomfortable. Definitely not the most ergonomically pleasing, but I've got no hot spots to speak of. Handle thickness does come in at 280 thousandths, so just over 1/4 inch. Extremely lightweight carry, coming in at 1.9 ounces, so that is definitely bug out territory when it comes to that. Now, as far as the price goes, you know, a lot of the Benchmade fanboys will argue that, you know, Benchmade is giving you their lifetime warranty, and so therefore that justifies this price. Can't disagree more, as I still feel this is grossly overpriced. But with even all that against it, I absolutely love it. Now, if you aren't aware, as far as the access lock goes on these Narrows, they do not use traditional Omega springs. They actually use a spring assembly, which is found on the AR-15 rifle. So perhaps because of that, that's why the action feels as good as it does. Don't know if they plan on using that spring assembly on other models or if that's strictly for the Narrows. But either way, I figured I'd point that out. Now let's go ahead and put some knives up for some size comparison. Basically, a little bit of knife flexing. You know how the fuck we do. Gotta roll with America first, and it's only right. Benchmade Narrows, OG rendition. More Benchmade vibes, and another one of my favorites. We're gonna go with the Mini Freak. So there we see those. Let's do a couple more, shall we? More American dope for your palate. We're gonna go with the award-winning Spyderco Para 3. Rocking those sexy RG custom metalwork scales. Then I'm gonna sprinkle in a little bit of Chinese dope, because I know you fuckers love it. We're gonna go with the Devo Mini Growler. So there you see those. Stay tuned, people, for 2025. That is going to be the year of the Mini Growler. Such a fucking fantastic knife. If you missed it on the drop, you fucked up. Let's do 2 more. God damn it, 2 more. Gotta go with this one. Talking about the TRM Holy Nerd. And then last but certainly not least, sprinkle in a little bit of Taiwanese dope. We're gonna go with the Quiet Carry Drift OG rendition. So there you see the Mini Narrows up against those. Now I'm leaving these 2 knives up here just to kind of point something out to you. I can't in my right mind recommend this Mini Narrows because the price to me just doesn't justify it. So because of that, I figured I'd give you 2 alternatives to the Mini Narrows. 2 knives with very similar blade stock thickness, similar cutting capabilities, and when it comes to the handles, very similar as well. If you're trying to stay USA made, I cannot recommend this TRM Holy Nerd enough. Was gifted this by TRM in the end of October. Full disclosure, this has been in my pocket more than any other knife in my collection since that date. Also 100% USA made, same steel. Of course, they do fantastic heat treats at TRM. Same blade stock thickness, contoured scales, fantastic washer action, all for $200. And then, of course, there's this beauty, the legendary Drift. What can I say, people? Knife totally impervious to the elements, very similar blade stock thickness, even has a thin handle, full titanium build, Van X super clean, $320 to $340. So those are 2 options to go with over this Mini Narrows. Still love it, still want it, but I would never pay that price. But more importantly, I want to know what you fuckers think. Are you a fan of Benchmade? How about this Mini Narrows? Tell me all about it. Love you, mean it. Until the next time. Cut something, cut someone. Just don't cut yourself. Stay dangerous, fuckers!